What if I told you that some international borders look like they were drawn by someone who had absolutely no idea what they were doing? In one town, a border runs through houses. One country is completely surrounded by another. And in another place, you can leave a country, enter another, and still technically remain in the same country. Borders are supposed to separate countries, but history, wars, treaties, rivers, and centuries of political decisions have created some of the strangest geographic puzzles on Earth. Today, we are traveling across the world to discover 10 of them. Number 10 takes us to Belgium and the Netherlands, where the border becomes almost impossible to understand. In the towns of Baarle-Hertog and Baarle-Nassau, there are 30 enclaves belonging to the two countries. 22 are Belgian enclaves surrounded by Dutch territory, while 8 belong to the Netherlands. The border can pass through streets, gardens, buildings, and even houses. Some buildings have borders running directly through them. In Baarle, crossing an international border can literally mean walking across a few meters of pavement. Now, travel to southern Africa. Here is a country that looks almost like a hole punched into another country. Lesotho. Lesotho is completely surrounded by South Africa. It has no other international neighbor. Despite being completely enclosed, Lesotho is an independent sovereign country. And there is another fascinating detail. Lesotho is a high-altitude kingdom, with its entire territory located above 1,000 meters above sea level. So this is not simply a country inside another country. It is also a country of mountains. Next is one of the world's most famous examples of an enclave, Vatican City. Vatican City is an independent state located entirely within the city of Rome. Its territory was established as a sovereign state through the Lateran Treaty with Italy in 1929. Its entire territory is only about 1 kilometer long and less than 1 kilometer wide. Yet this tiny piece of land is a sovereign state with its own government, flag, currency, and international diplomatic presence. Now let's move toward the Caucasus. Azerbaijan has a piece of territory that is separated from the rest of the country. This region is called Nakhchivan. It belongs to Azerbaijan, but it does not physically connect to mainland Azerbaijan. Armenia lies between them. And look closely at the map. Nakhchivan also touches Turkey, but only along a very short border. That tiny connection makes this region one of the most unusual pieces of territory in Eurasia. Now for a bizarre American geographic situation. Imagine living in the United States, but the easiest road to the rest of your own country passes through Canada. That is Point Roberts, a small community in Washington state, located on a peninsula south of Canada. It is connected to the rest of Washington only through Canadian territory. So geographically, you can drive north from Point Roberts, cross into Canada, travel through Canada, and then cross back into the United States to reach the American mainland. Europe has another fascinating example. Livia, a Spanish municipality completely surrounded by France. The reason goes back centuries. After the Treaty of the Pyrenees in 1659, Livia remained Spanish, even though the surrounding territory became French. Today, the town is connected to the rest of Spain by a road passing through France. A simple road trip can therefore involve crossing an international boundary without actually leaving Spanish territory. Our next stop is Campione d'Italia, a tiny piece of Italy surrounded by Switzerland. The Italian municipality sits inside the Swiss canton of Ticino, on the shore of Lake Lugano. It covers only about 2.6 square kilometers. Even more interesting, the local border is not marked by a giant wall. The municipality describes the border as open, without barrier-style border controls, or a physical border fence. Now we have one of the most surprising political geography situations in the world. Spain has territories on the African mainland. Ceuta and Melilla are Spanish territories located on the North African coast, surrounded by Morocco on their landward sides. So Spain is not simply a European country on a map. Its territory also reaches into North Africa, creating borders between Spain and Morocco, thousands of kilometers away from mainland Spain. Next is one of Africa's strangest shapes, the Gambia. The Gambia is a long, narrow country following the Gambia River. Senegal surrounds it on three sides, while the Atlantic Ocean forms its western edge. The shape was heavily influenced by colonial history. British and French interests helped define the borders, leaving a narrow British-controlled strip along the river surrounded largely by French-controlled territory. And finally, we arrive at one of Europe's most strategically unusual territories, Kaliningrad. Kaliningrad Oblast belongs to Russia, but it has no land connection with mainland Russia. It sits between Lithuania and Poland on the Baltic Sea. This means that traveling by land from Kaliningrad to the Russian mainland requires crossing territory outside Russia. The geography creates a very unusual situation for transportation, trade, and politics. From Belgian enclaves hidden inside the Netherlands, to a country completely surrounded by South Africa, to an American community separated from the rest of the United States, these borders prove that geography is rarely as simple as the maps in a classroom. And perhaps the strangest thing about borders is this. Most of them look permanent today, but almost every one of them is the result of decisions made by people centuries ago. Borders are not natural lines. They are stories written onto the map. If you enjoy discovering the strange side of our world, subscribe for more fascinating country facts, unusual places, and geographic mysteries. And tell me in the comments, which border surprised you the most?